Well, let's look down that road just a little bit further then. If you had a single terrorist, how many people that would be in unison of consciousness and directing their conscious spirit toward that one single terrorist, how many would it take to sway him?
I don't know. I don't know the studies. Studies are definitive in that regard. But when you start to get 25 or 30% of your population moving in those directions, there have been studies, I know, of meditators in the Washington, D.C. area, and the violence in the inner city dropped markedly during the course of those studies. Mm-hmm. And I haven't followed that recently to see, to read projections as to what was required. Mm-hmm. But I do know the more people we get who are of that mindset, mm-hmm. the more it propagates, and that's exactly what we're trying to do.
Okay. And is there an organization that collects information on those elevated conscious type people that would join you?
Well, there have been quite a few studies, academic studies done. I don't have any in my fingertips right now.
Okay. Well, I'm just thinking, maybe people in the audience here might want to.
But there are a lot of organizations moving in this direction, of course.
Well, then how can everyone be of a single purpose and single mind if they don't know when and how and what the common purpose would be?
It all has to start within us. And if you want to have peace in this world, it starts with me. And that's what everybody has to have. And when we have enough people believing in that and doing that, it will happen.
And do you have any time frame that, as you look across the world, where you see that happening?
Well, I like to think I see it happening, but let's be very straightforward and exact. There is no assurance and no guarantee that we're going to pull it off or that we're going to survive. There's nothing about this planet that says we have to survive. Mm-hmm. Well, so we may not pull it off. Mm-hmm. And other civilizations out there might say, well, they didn't get out of first grade, did they? Mm-hmm.
It seems more plausible that they're not going to get out of it because man seems to have a propensity, an ever-growing propensity for violence and coveting his neighbor's goods or his country or his oil. It just seems intrinsic.
Well, you're quite correct. That demon seems to have raised its ugly head here recently, and but I think we are seeing the product of that, and then the people are not liking what they're seeing, so maybe it's a turning point. Maybe we're reaching a tipping point in the other direction. I would hope so.
Just a quick follow-up. Somebody wants to know, did you ever make it to level 32, Mason?
No, I'm a Master Mason, and I was off in the Korean War after that, and I did not pursue it.
Okay. All right. And so now you say that you may have to have a follow-up book, but I'm really not sure how, as I just mentioned, how that people can get together to start to create. Individually, it seems by the time someone gets maybe two people heading in the right direction, their life is over, and another human is born, and you try to get them going in the right direction. So it seems like it's pretty slow going.
Well, it could be, but that's what families are all about. But there is a movement right now which I happen to be involved with, bringing the thought leaders, quite a number of the thought leaders that they're thinking in these directions together, just to see exactly how we can speed this up. Mm-hmm.
And so is there a known organization that may be at the epicenter of that right now? Is it yours?
Well, I don't want to claim that, but we're trying. Mm-hmm.
We have 3 websites listed in your bio section, EdMitchell, Apollo14.com, and the Institute. Which one of those 3 would people go to first if they want to connect with this advanced consciousness?
The Institute of the Noetic.org is the one, certainly the largest, and the one more on the forefront. Quantrek is more a deep research organization on the frontier of scientific research, mm-hmm. and just really getting started in funding some of these major projects. And then the other one is my personal website that from which I communicate with people and have books, and paper.
Didn't I see on your website that you offer maybe a full color picture of yourself that's signed?
Well, for collectors that want those things, I have a number of pictures. And
do you ever have like a reunion of astronauts?
Oh yes, well we have the Astronaut Hall of Fame at Cape Kennedy, we have activities going on there all the time, and that's under the sponsorship of the Astronaut Scholarship Fund, where we sponsor at the moment 19 $10,000 scholarships a year to outstanding students across the country, and we're trying to raise more money for outstanding student scholars. And many of the astronauts are involved in that. And then there's the Association of Space Explorers, which includes all the world's astronauts that want to participate, and has meetings every year for different programs to discuss this, that, and the other, and to help further some of these projects that we're involved in.
Okay. Kevin would like to know, Dr. Mitchell, do you consider yourself a humanist?
Oh, yes.
And how would you describe a humanist?
Well, my particular description of what I try to do is I'm in love with nature, with humanity, with this planet that we're on. And I work every day, many hours a day. I put in about 16 hours a day working on projects that I think will move us toward these goals we're talking about, toward a more peaceful civilization, toward developing the knowledge and the science that will help us move into the future in a sustainable way, and to supporting those organizations that are trying to achieve these goals that we've been talking about all evening.
Do you think that the belief in or the worship of a God-like deity helps or hinders the advancement?
Well, it's more as to how the person lives their own life and behaves themselves than what they believe in as far as a deity is concerned, because all of our religions are rooted in this transcendent type experience, and how you want to explain that is a matter of personal belief, but what you do is more important. And of course, the terrorists that are giving us so much problem, they have their belief too, but they are on the fringe, just as fundamentalists of every tradition get out on the fringe, and they become more part of the problem than a part of the solution. And any of these groups that do that, they don't recognize it, but that's what they're doing. They're becoming more part of the problem than the solution. So
one could take one's belief in a deity and turn it for good by combining...
at the root of all of it is the golden rule: love thy neighbor as thyself. All of them. And when we start to consider ourselves as brothers, as one, and try to work toward cooperation, harmony, and understanding, that's when we'll make progress.
Besides the practical way of coming into a sort of a mystical, elevated consciousness, you said that one should not seek so many goods, so to speak, accumulation of goods. What is another practical idea that someone can do besides that?
When you're devoting yourself, the whole notion is if you devote your life to the greater good, to the service of others, when you are willing to start to devote your money, your time, your thought, your love, your caring to the service of the greater good, then you're making progress. If it's rooted only in yourself, then you're part of the problem.
Well, let me ask you this. If you took all the star systems, and you were talking earlier in the first hour about you said the star systems created the molecules, and you were part of that. And if you combined all of them, would you have the mind of God, for lack of a better term? Would it be the transcendent, ever-present, before time and after time God that always exists and always will exist?